It's not built. Let me go. Okay, hi, welcome to DevKami, number 213.
213, and I'm
Yep,
Chile.
I'm Xingming, and for some reason our website are not being built. I need to investigate that later.
It happens whenever we need to demo something, you just stop working.
Yep. So on the other hand, it's a good thing because we have a lot of content today. So let's start with our site. First, take care of yourself. I'm a bit coughing, not too bad.
I'm down with
Oh, excuse me.
flu, like, I don't know, I call it COVID symptoms.
Yep.
I've never been tested positive for the past 2 weeks,
Oh
but
shit.
I'm down with a very bad flu. I would say it's a flu then.
Yeah, flu is more common than among my
Flu,
circles
not
and
co-
friends.
yeah, the one that gives us a headache.
Yeah,
Because
so
a lot of
that,
this is that we often mix up flu and common cold.
correct. And more importantly, for example, I have cough, but the only worry now is that I don't have fever, which is a good thing because if I have fever, then I possibly be blocked from going to Korea
Mm.
because of the health check thing that I need to submit. But even I submit, I still need to go
You
to
better quarantine
quarantine center.
yourself for the past next so for the next few days, not past. Mm.
Yeah, I adopted. Let's see how it goes because it should be safe for now. Oh well. Uh, I kind of need to get stuff, change money, and all that, so I can't really avoid it for the first place because uh, Korea is a bit like Malaysia in a way. Uh, it's modern, yes, but you also had a lot of street food and all that, and those take cash. Those are cash businesses, so I need to exchange money either way, right?
Mm.
So it's not like I do not know whether they have an e-payment. They probably simply have, who knows, but it won't be compatible with here, right? So which is actually a real problem. So I need cash either way. So I need to go out. I don't have a choice.
Mm.
So then I also need to grab something for my camera and stuff. But this option I can just throw in my bag and get it go. It's not too bad. With that said, let's share our stuff. So let's start with our events. Next week is Ruby Meetup in KL and Penang. So that happens.
And PyCon is having their call for papers.
CF, yeah, call for paper, of course, very important. Let me get the PyCon CFP.
I'm gonna lie back a
Where the?
bit.
So I actually submitted this time, and this time I actually talk something about work, closer to work, because this is more interesting project. Because the last time this happened is a Sina project, and some people consider that controversial. That's why my CFP got rejected in Singapore, by the way.
Really?
So yeah, they consider it too political. Like the problem is, the word political is a way to say they don't talk about something. That's what it really means. So my paper this time is some people consider it
Do we
less.
have a date? 26th.
Yeah, the CFP will end. Okay, so the conference will be at 26 and 28. It'll be in KL. That one is confirmed. The CFP is end of May.
Mm.
Uh, more people, I believe more people is submitting now. So this is what I submit this year.
Oh, you
Let
can
me see
see
submission.
the submission.
Yeah, no, I can see my submission.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you. Oh, okay, that was your submission back then.
yeah, that
MicroPython.
is my submission.
Good old
So I'm confused.
2019.
Yeah. So then I did one that is also very interesting one because yeah, not many people do MicroPython that time. Nowadays probably the same, but who knows. So yeah, this is what happened. This is the one I talk about image segmentation models. Then I also did one for PyCon Japan. That also said the CFP is on the same date, but PyCon JP is it here? Yeah, here. I also did one, but Yeah, I'm still learning Japanese, but this happening as well. Same topic, but I do not know whether they accept lah. Malaysia one tend to accept lah, because we don't have
Mm,
that many speakers for the first place. It's a pattern. So this happens. Then of course Ruby meetup next week, and
mm,
that's about it really. So that's one thing that happened. The other thing that I promised to do is actually use OpenAI to summarize our website and all that. That
mm.
failed over the last long holiday. The reason is credit card. So they don't. My credit got blocked. So I checked with the community. Many members of the community managed to get it, but oh, what the hell, I can't. Uh, but they have to talk to the bank and all that lah, which is a typical issue of
Yeah,
Malaysian.
I have an issue with bank lately, which I very seldom use the ATM card.
Yep,
So for quite a number of local banks, they switched to using non-SMS TAC. So
yes,
they forced me to the mobile app. But like for
yep,
example, public bank requires me to get the code from ATM, but my ATM
yeah,
card expired last year.
correct. Oh, well, that
So
is actually your Visa card.
yeah,
It's a bit messy.
yeah.
So the
Then
thing
I
is,
have to go to get a new card in order to be
yep,
able to make my my bank account useful again, or else I cannot pay my loan and everything.
yeah. Okay, I actually submitted some news. What the hell? What on earth? Da-da-da. Okay, give me a while. Oh. I can't just table. Yep, this is the one. Then I still can't select this. So annoying. What the hell? I don't understand what is happening, man.
Nobody does.
Huh?
Nobody knows what is
Yeah,
going on anymore.
yeah. So forget it. I'm going to do something like this instead. So the build have been failing for reason I don't understand, but I don't care now. So I'm just going to just
Oh, where are
fix
you
it.
building it? Shit, I need to catch up on some of the CINs. I will move some of the stuff to the more modern and free stuff in case they're discontinuous.
Correct. So let's start with the first news. Ways to shoot yourself in PostgreSQL. Uh, so the first thing, I feel like this, honestly, I feel like this is actually pretty weird for me. For example, not updating default value for both memory. So this governs how much memory available for each query operation. This is interesting because often it does not impact my query that much. I could be wrong.
Mm.
So yeah,
So far, not
apparently
yet
it's
for
an issue.
me. Mine
Correct.
is always a active connection count that I need to increase.
Correct. That is always a problem to me. Because especially when you use for me it's because AWS does, and the reason for that is because okay, so it goes like this. AWS by default, per region, you have 1,000 connection, 1,000 concurrency unit. It's a number. Okay, it's 1,000 of concurrency unit, meaning at one time all your lambda can only 1,000 can only one can run 1,000. Total it up can run at 1,000 at the same time, roughly like that. Okay, you rarely do not hit. You often do not hit that, but this happens. So as a result, you need to be careful because for lambda, the whole idea is that it abstract out your allocation. So when you need things, it will scale it up when you need to, and scale it down when you need to. You don't have to care about it, right? But there's a consequences. One of the consequence is if you're not careful about how things are run, you may have so imagine you may actually spawn multiple workers and connect database, and it will run a connection very fast, right? If you do one, of course, nothing will happen. If you have to serve multiple users, now you're in trouble. So that actually happens, right? So you need to be careful about that. Very easily off. But let's go on first. So the next one is actually put all your application logic in Postgres function and procedures. This one is we kind of, a lot of us already avoid that, right? Because it's one of the rules. Do not commit code, put your logic in stock procedures and all that.
Mm.
The reason is because it's not for us. It's not committed in any way. It's hidden in the database. So in this case, they have other reason, but yeah, this one I use a lot. The
It's
trigger is one of those things that is very
it's something that used more often back then in the stock
yeah,
procedure
correct,
when we had a dedicated DBA to design the DB
correct,
functionality.
correct. So triggers are less, a bit less now, but
Trigger manually,
uh,
please.
yeah, be careful about that. It exists and use notify. This is new to me as well. So
Uh,
this one,
I only found out about Notify recently.
oh really interesting.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
apparently Postgres is more than what I thought it is.
correct. Then prefer CTE over subqueries. Then use recursive CTE for time query because those are expensive. And this is more common actually. Don't add indexes to your foreign key. Your ORM already do that. If it doesn't, maybe something wrong with it. Uh, and all that. So yeah, it's some of it doesn't quite make sense, but some it's okay. So you should check this out. So I'm going to move on quickly because we had a lot of things, but I'm probably going to skip a lot of the AI one because it's the same thing. No, it's new thing, but it's extra stuff on the thing we keep talking about. Do you know this guy Sam Zillow?
No idea. I'm a bit disconnected.
Okay, so this guy create his own fab for as a chip fabrication uh, place. Okay, so he built his own chip fabricator in his garage, right? So the first one he built actually 6 transistor is one chip. So now he actually upgraded. Now his second IC. This one have 1200 transistor, which is pretty impressive for something that you can build in your garage. So
Hmm?
you can't build the whole computer yet, but even though you thought like 1200 transistor is not a lot, the Intel 4002 had 2200 transistors, right? So it's it probably not, it won't replace Intel, but it's interesting in its own way. So yeah. Uh, so what interesting about this guy is that he actually described all his method and all that tools and all the technology needed, measurement and capability. So this guy actually ground the idea of making your own hardware on a very low level, right? Otherwise, the idea of chip making is really like we just make it. So this guy actually ground it very low. So yeah, and apparently it's not just electronic, it's chemistry, material science, and whatnot.
Hmm?
So yep, very interesting guy, and he made a new chip that have 1200 transistors, which is very cool. Anything to add? If not, we'll move on.
Mhm.
This one, no, this one is something that we repeat last week, but this one have a link now. Uh, remember last week I talked about AI
Yep.
system, agent system on this. So this one is more interesting because this is a demo on recorded data, so you can actually view how things work. Uh, this this is actually pre-computed replay. So this is not a pure simulation. So whereas the paper is actually truly autonomous, this is a replay from the data.
Mm.
I did not. This is the first time I play this. I do not know whether it will still work.
Yeah, I think it's downloading.
Yeah, maybe later because it may need quite a lot of heavy stuff. So, yeah, you want to see more on this, you can look into this, and yeah, lor, you can play the architect in the matrix. La la la, this one. Have you do generative AI in your application in your
No.
project now? Unfortunately, I have something similar, but it's less toward generating content. It's more like generating boundaries. But this is actually one of these people to set the setup, the what we call it, the practice, right, of using these tools. So some of the thing here is that distinguish between general and private knowledge, meaning there is knowledge that everyone knows and there is your internal data. You need to separate it out. In open AI, they will tell you that if score is relevant, then otherwise from private. So there is ways for you to do that, and a lot of these are very privacy focused, because last time I've been talking that generative system uh, tend to use data from the public, but to make it useful, you need data from inside your system, and you actually should care about this because some of these systems are contain user information, so you need to be a bit more careful about that. So yeah, with this is a lot of these are data protection actually, data protection and protection behavior and all that. So yeah, it's actually very interesting if you want to build system. It's less toward design. This have a safety focus than user operation focus. So yeah. Anyone saying anything? No. Two people listening.
Not.
Very cool. RocksDB. You heard of
Yeah.
RocksDB? Do you use it? What you use it for?
No, not. I didn't use it.
Oh, okay. So RocksDB server storage
But
engine for
it's
MySQL.
something that good to read.
Yeah, this is actually very good because database system is actually a magic system for most people. So learning how to use it is
Especially
very
these
cool.
days is about the distributed, like the
Correct,
scaling part.
correct. So so they talk about the basic algorithm which already here. Then and more importantly, this actually tell you how it work against multiple concurrency, multiple
Mm.
servers and all that. Very interesting to me is a lot of these are key value store. So yeah, which is interesting, but yeah, uh, merge. So database operation are very interesting to them. You probably won't build a database from scratch, but having some of this knowledge is useful for you to know the caveat of your tools, right?
When you're,
Understanding it
especially when you need all the juice
correct,
from the tool that you gonna use, like the
correct.
database.
So this is useful, but
It's okay to
it
know the
may not be
behavior.
something. Yeah, it's about capability, but it may not be something that I will put in my senior engineer interview. But if
Mm.
you're a senior engineer and come to an interview, you can prove that you know this kind of thing, and I happen to be in the interview, then yeah, you will impress me. I would actually consider that lah to bring you in. But that's just me. So next one, web GPU. Also interesting to me for a very different reason. Uh, the reason is this. Let me find it. ONNX web GPU. This is actually very recent. Is it here? Da-da-da, here. Onyx is something like I've thought about it for a while. It's a way for you to uh, it's a way to exchange compound neural network. It have a capability for you to run on the browser, so you can do a full client only web application. And so recently they actually have web GPU backend via JSAP to be here. JavaScript execution provider. So this allows them to actually run use web GPU as a web GPU as accelerator, and you can use mscripted as Syn65. So it gives more performance and all that lah. Uh, so web GPU is actually one way that people actually use to improve the performance. It are very similar to CUDA, but very different technology. So this actually covers the fundamentals. Actually good shit. Okay, very good stuff actually. So tell you how things work, then do the stage pipeline and all that. It's not too different from how you do shaders and all that. Instead the map, different technology, different language, uh, but this is something that you can use on your browser. So vectors and all that. So anything to add? If not, go move on.
Hmm.
Go
Then you
on.
notice it's not
Hopefully,
JavaScript, the
huh?
shader language, and it's
Shader
following the
language is not
shape.
JavaScript. Yeah, but it's something that you can use. Also, let me show you. Go back to that again. I'm trying to find. I try to find how does it work actually. Uh, you have a shader language.
If you
This is
want
a shader
to,
language.
I think if you want to do a comparison, it's like SQL. You have to
Yep,
do and learn another of its language
correct,
also.
correct. It's actually the same if you do low level graphics. Nowadays, the game engine handled that, but low level graphics have the same thing. It's still using a shader language. So the difference here is that this is interface to your web application. You see here, all these are still browser, but it's toward here. It's toward here. Create shader module. It's toward it's from device to create shader. Then you use the shader language. Then use a different language. So it used to be, I believe, you used to have to do that in low level in the early days of graphic programming. Nowadays it's abstracted out. So now this exists lah. The language is called WGSL, Web GPU shaders language. So yeah, it runs on GPU and all that. So yeah, it allows you to interface this to browser, and they have their own shader language. In short, I'm going
So
to
later you
move
can
on.
have your desktop
Yep,
on your on your browser, on your desktop, on your that runs the
on the
desktop.
browser. Yeah, yep. Okay, this one is very
Um,
cool. Uh, so this one is cool because the way you look at your color on your screen is actually not what you think it is. Okay,
mm,
and FFmpeg is a tool that helps you see it. So you will one assumption we always make is that blue, red, and green on your screen is equal. It's not equal. We are seeing it very differently. The color that is natural to us have a very different ratio, right? Uh, so which is why in your screen you can do that. Oh no, the screens there's a brain is very different, but the color and all that is not the same. Okay. Oh, Tristan is here.
Hey, hello.
So this article is very cool to actually tell you the misconception about color that you actually see, because what you think about color is wrong, and FFmpeg is a tool that helps you explore this properly. So yeah, anything to add on colors and all that? No, it's a whole detail. It's a whole rabbit hole of color science, conversion, and color space. It's yeah, very interesting. It's just me. It's just me. So yep, I'm going to move on. This one. Okay, I'm going to move on. Then I'm going to put all the AI stuff toward the end, unless it's integrating it to application. Okay, because the integration part are the one that is a bit
Hmm.
not common among the
Is
discourse
is the
lah.
website not not deploying?
No, it's not. For some
again?
reason,
Hmm.
it does not work. I didn't notice until I realized that the website did not get built.
But today is the 27th, right? It's there. The page is there.
Oh, it's up now. What the hell happened? I commit in the
I was
past now.
wondering why you're
Okay, forget
copying
it.
and pasting.
Forget it. Yeah, I'm going to close this. Okay, so Wolverine. So this tool is interesting. Oh, this is a proof of concept. I believe the proof of concept. So what this does, what this claim is, by using language models and all that, you can build a self-healing Python script, right? Uh, so when you run your script with Wolverine, when they crash, GPT-4 it did same, explain what's wrong, so it will rerun until it got fixed. So okay, this is the claim. How well it worked, I do not know. Not now. Continue assuming I don't care. So okay, there's sound from this. You can go to the link. Is it long? Okay, 2 minutes. Okay, it's 2 minutes. Maybe later. Just watch yourself. But one of the claim is you can use it to edit your own code. So Python code Wolverine, then do the thing, then that's what the claim. And maybe this is a future programming, but how well it get adopted, I do not know. In theory, it should be good. In practice, that I do not know yet, right? So that's the claim lah. So what do you think about this? Do you think we go jobless soon,
No,
or we will end up
it's gonna
with
not
nobody
it's
on it?
it's just gonna replace those low effort entry level
Yeah,
jobs.
it's like the manufacturing, right? As soon as
correct, correct,
well, you don't need to assemble candies, for example, by yourself. You have factories, so you do it gets shifted. So instead of manually wrapping candy bars, you have a machine, and then
yeah,
you have humans that supervise or program or
correct,
repair
correct.
those machines. It's going to be the same thing.
So
Yeah, like what Julian was saying, it's a shifting of responsibilities. But the problem there is for people who don't want to like to encounter change. They're not
Mm.
willing to learn new things.
It's gonna
yeah,
replace all the low barrier of entry one gonna be
Mm,
replaced.
yeah.
correct. So I'm going to click on. Okay, so I know I promised a few LLM, but I want to focus on applications, application things they tried and all that. Uh, so
So
Monday.
far, all these tools that came out are just what we call improving quality of life of programmers instead
Correct,
of replacing
Mm-hmm.
the job.
correct, correct. So I'm going to. Okay, so this is a new-ish thing. So what this does is they use ChatGPT like capability to in Python shell. Uh, so that it will generate code and all that. Again, uh, add more capabilities that we previously don't have. So which again useful. I hope so, which is the reason why I hope I should call the bank to settle my OpenAI credit card issue actually.
What
Uh,
do you mean credit
because
card issue?
I think the bank actually blocked the. So I got a feeling that the bank actually blocked the transaction as a result. I can't pay for the API. I
Because
use the
the
free
bank
API for
doesn't want you
LLM.
to the bank doesn't want you to pay for AI or something.
No, no, no. It's just that a bank is
The
paranoid.
bank want to stop Skynet from happening.
Yeah, they're the
So,
last line of defense. Your credit card.
so the bank is a bit paranoid in a way that uh, the default mode is block anything overseas, right? Overseas transaction. That's what happened. Uh, with some caveat as usual. So, for example, in Humble Bundle, my transaction get through, and the reason is because they use Stripe. Stripe is already part of the vendor trusted party, so they probably can already handle that. OpenAI are using their own thing, possibly the higher chance of being blocked. So, um, so as a result, the default move for the bank is just block the transaction until you call them. Uh, so yeah, some of the better one that will just allow it, then call you to verify. So my bank does not do that, so which is actually a problem. So as a result, sometimes even things like AWS,
But you
Google
can
payment, and all
you
that will
can't
generate.
blame is that Malaysia, the card theft in Malaysia is pretty bad.
Correct. So and also the liability is very bad. The consequence is very hard for us to do get overseas services. So either way, new capabilities in OpenAI. Sorry, with these language models. So this one, just now, it's self-healing code is another one. This one is a code that uh, can modify themselves in a very different way. We used to have a thing called queens. This is a different thing. This is actually more like modifying cells and rerun things. Just now, what they do is they're actually using language model to generate code. So it's a very different things from queens, right? So this one is a code that generate a code and generate a code. So this is a very different thing. This one is a bit more intelligent. So sorry, I'm jumping too fast. Mandala is one of those things lah. It's not queens. It's just code that modify. It's modifying notebooks. So it's a pro concept lah. So anything to add? If not, I'm gonna move on.
No.
Okay, so this one is from Martin Fowler. ThoughtWorks, in China, head of technology in China, using ChatGPT to build a self-testing code, which I find very interesting because this is a more, I wouldn't call it realistic, but it's close to realistic because what this does is the author here actually it start with prompts with essentially a set of specification. It's the current system with two type of view models and comment. Then there's a lot of the prompt, right? And he's using generate application because ChatGPT is a public service, and they have to serve some very interesting customer, right? So then from there, you will generate solution, generate task list. Then so once you have a list, rewrite master plan and group model, then it will just tweak all these things lah. So specification, list of tasks. Then each of the tasks generate tests because this ThoughtWorks. Of course, they will make sure that you do test-driven development properly, right? Not like how we claim. Or let me increase the size. Give me a while. What the hell? So
Also,
better?
most of the time the work grunt stuff, I would say.
Correct. So what he does is essentially the grunt work. So for example, expect step. This is all grunt work really. So in theory, they will do the task. Then in between, what I don't agree with is it generate a big set of tests, right? If it works for you, then great. If the API makes sense, great, right? In this case, apparently it works for him lah. So you generate a set of tests, then then he readapt the thing, etc. So it's a conversation, all that. So this is a more realistic view of how do you work with this code. The test, then here then they'll provide implementation. So yeah, this is a good article. This is how in practice how you write code. And
Oh yeah, usually Martin Fowler writes good articles. Like it has impact, which is why you have to subscribe to like
correct.
whatever he writes
Learn
to.
from it and all that. Uh, I have some disagreement, but good article is where
Yeah.
you
Well, I
have
don't
something
think
to say.
disagreement is not the gauge by which like something is
Yeah,
good or bad. I think the gauge should
yeah,
be like, does it make you think, right? Does it make you
yeah. That's
consider
the point,
viewpoints
right?
that you didn't think? You
Correct.
may disagree, but that's great. Like,
Yeah,
do you disagree immediately, or did you at least say, yeah, you have a point, but this is why you're wrong? And I think that's
yeah,
what makes
correct.
something worth reading.
So you want to do if you really consider using this kind of tools, large language model like copilots and whatnot. Consider this way for you to actually consider this way for you to build your application. It may work for you. Recently, things does not work for me as well because uh, the assumption of data is a bit wrong. So I have to edit a bit and all that. So, but it did get the job done in the end. So
Hmm.
this is yep, this is one of those things, very useful stuff. Agent GPT, a lot of a big claim, but I'm skipping this because it's one of those hype-ish thing. Skip away from AI. Do you remember that there's okay? At least there was a time where I'm obsessed with widgets. Okay, I'm obsessed with widgets. So so I always want to know how things are built. So this is an example of that is built on Rust. Um, so you can build custom widgets for any Windows manager. It used to be this kind of thing, very desktop manager specific. There is some that is not. For example, oh shit, there's a lot. It used to have things like displaying your system status on the bottom of the bar. Those are pretty generic, but we have a lot that is not actually. Uh, so, for example, if you use KD, there's Plasma. I do not know what happened with GNOME now, and tend to use very low-level language, so visually it didn't take out. But also, people just stopped doing that until mobile.
Yeah. So
So
this project does not work on GNOME, or like it only works on KDE. Is that
apparently, it
it?
works for any Windows manager. The claim
Hmm.
is this works on any desktop manager.
I think because it composites itself, it's a
Correct.
compositor.
Correct.
Does it
Same
work on
goes with
Wayland? I guess
Flutter.
the
Yeah.
question. Does it work on Wayland?
I do not know. They do. I do not know beyond the. Okay, I do not know beyond that claim that they say. So I do not know as much. I just find it interesting because I always want to do this kind of thing. So, so yeah, we should try it and see how it goes. So I'm going to move on. Queen, more on that later. AI brainstorm, Agent GPT, also roper board, Okay, desktop widget. Okay, this one is not new, not old. Again, more practical stuff. This table transformer, what it does is use neural network to actually process tables in a document. This is what powers the Microsoft Office table extractor. So they released the model lah. Of course, they released the model, but they did not tell you how to integrate it, of course. So it's released all the way in 2001. So as I said, it's old stuff, but uh, there is more
I
feature
would
lah that
say I would
people
say
want to do.
this after trying out is that this a lot of these tools and model and stuff they are developed by data people or the
Yeah, correct,
academics. They are not system developers.
correct. So I have very cool example for that. Uh, okay, I have meat for that because this is a project I've been integrating it, right? So blah 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 blah, notebook, and it stopped being updated. Like what the hell? Okay, notebook is very slow. Okay, this is important because I want to show you the API.
Hmm.
I want to show you the API how things work. is actually very annoying, and some of the code are not very you work on their way. So let me get here.
What's
Uh,
segment anything again? I forgot. I
a
know we
segment.
shared
Okay,
it
you know
last
the
time.
automatic set.
Oh
It's
yeah,
an
yeah, the
automatic
one that the
segmentation model.
contrast detection, and then well, it doesn't. I
Yeah,
mean,
Object
that was
extraction.
contrast. You have object extraction from a
yeah,
picture, from a 2D
correct,
image.
correct, correct. Okay, it's too slow. But the point of this story is that I also had to overwrite some code. We implement some classes to override some classes and all that.
Mhm.
It's not easy because okay. So here's how it works. One assumption that made is okay to use this model. You need to generate embeddings. I can understand that. Embeddings are internal information that can be used by a neural network to do more inference. Okay, that thing is actually expensive. So to use their software, you need to generate the embedding while you load the image. So you put the image, then generate embedding. But the problem is the generated embedding itself is actually taking GPU time. As a result, it's slow. It takes time, right? But the assumption is the assumption here is that you will always do this all the time, which is not a good assumption because uh, there may be other flow that more makes sense. For example, maybe you want to delay the segmentation. You want to do the segmentation early first as you upload the image, when people do the inference, they have the embedding ready, right? It makes the UX easier. So there's no consideration in that code. So the integration is actually very painful. The integration is very painful actually, and also that the default output from them is actually a mask, a 2D array of binary, right? So you get a mask. Something can generate a mask image, but to turn it into a bounding box, binary, a polygon shape and whatnot, that require you write extra code. So the integration is very painful. That's the point of this
Hmm.
story actually. Academics are very bad at this. It's very bad at this. I wonder if you see the code here. La la. No, it's horrible. It makes more sense with a discrete concrete example.
Maybe you can prepare for
So
the
yeah,
next week.
I have that except for work. I have that
Hmm.
for work one.
You can have a minimal
Uh,
reproduction example.
Let me
You
see
can
if I can
show
see.
us.
I'm going to show my work
Hmm.
one. No. I have
No, no,
that.
it's okay. It's
I
okay.
have
You
that.
can, you can do it next week.
Yeah, wait. It's there. It's there. Very quick. Very quick. It's important. Da, 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 da. Yeah, it's called annotation assistant. This one I cannot
Hmm.
show because this one have customer data. This one I can show. It doesn't. Screw it. Whose
Now,
child is
something's
it?
wrong with servers nowadays. I think it's the Google uh, data center downtime, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
in Europe,
GitHub
correct.
is being horrible. Some mobile games are not working. I think
Yeah,
there was a
forget it.
downtime in apt-get when I tried before. Like for some reason, I couldn't update
Correct.
my system packages, then it was working. So something's up.
Okay, forget
Yeah.
it. I'm going
So
to do
Nicholas is
something to.
saying that he found a former colleague listening to the podcast. So it's a small world.
Okay.
Mm.
Uh, okay, this is a proof of concept, but the idea here is this. Uh, I say this multiple times, right? Uh, a language model, the so-called AI system, do not have all knowledge in the world. They do not have knowledge within a system, especially. Okay, especially, and the point of having company is always that you do something different enough that it worth having. So you need ways to load. You need ways to load this knowledge, right? So this is one of those things lah. What they do is you actually teach them new knowledge every time they do not know something. So in summary, memory learning, there's one of that. So you keep adding that. I do not know whether this would be the way for you to teach this system. but it provide this is an experiment, one of many experiments to teach stuff, right? To make things more useful. Because previously we showed a thing called Llama Hub that actually connect with all these third party, connect to all these data sources, like Bilibili, which is interesting, but more databases and all that. So this is what make the model useful, right? Not really prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is part of it, but this would be the thing that will make the model useful for the real world.
Mm-hmm.
So, and AI brain is another approach, which I really respect. And what they do is essentially they collect this string and store it on Chroma. Chroma is a vector database. So the reason is you need an embedding. Embedding is essentially something that turns into a number. In this case, easier way to think about that is a string need to convert into a number because neural network works on number. So what they do is they collect this string, convert into embeddings, and store it to a database. It's called vector database. So from the database that you can put into your language model, your AI system, so to say, and it knows stuff, hopefully, right? Because as I like to tell my colleagues, a lot of these machine learning models, they tend to be a bit random. You do not 100% get the same result all the time. So this is why I say you put a knowledge, quote unquote, again, and hopefully they record the right thing. Then you need to input more and more. Yeah, it's a mess. So yeah.
Is this your project?
No, this is not my project.
No, I mean you have it's like a hobby thing. You're trying
no.
to
I
explore.
can't do my AI thing. I can't do my language model thing because I want to. My goal is a bit more modest. I want to actually. Okay, there is two projects. One is web. So there is. I'll load something from website. You can even do RSS and all that, which is very interesting. More importantly, I want to do EPUB. You can do EPUB. So what this does is it does precisely what AI Brain do just now. What AI Brain is you put a string and put it on a language model to do stuff. So this one is okay. This one is more. Okay. You can see this example here. LangChain, we talked about it last week. You have the loader. You give them the URL. Then you need to set up. Then you call the OpenAI API. Right now you got a AI agent, so to say. Then you can start asking question here. What language is on the website, right? My goal is a bit more modest. For now, I just care about one website for now. It could be, let's say, an anime wiki. It can be an anime wiki. One experiment I was trying is actually on EPUB. Then I want to use these are more. The documentation is bad. I'm sorry, the documentation is very bad. But LangChain have that. So for example, on Gutenberg, I found a book about kabuki. Random, just choose a random topic, right? I want to load that into. I'll use this to load this, then maybe put on OpenAI. Okay, maybe not because it may be too expensive. I do not know yet. Know what I mean, it may be too expensive. Maybe put it on Llama or was it Llama? The local one, right? So load it there and see whether they know about kabuki.
Llama is the one
How
that you
much they
can
know about
start from.
kabuki?
Yeah.
Huh?
Llama
right?
is the one from you can self-host.
Yeah. So
Mm,
put them on one self-host model on Hugging Face, right? That's the idea. So load the book somehow, then load it on Llama, and see
mm,
how much they know about Kabuki or I don't know some random topic on Gutenberg, some random topic from Gutenberg, right? I
mm.
don't know,
I
like
think there's some
it had
some issues with Google related services.
Yeah, yeah.
Google
It's
Maps
not
doesn't work.
good right now. Yeah, yeah. Well, my I wanted to talk about my project as well. It's not AI
yeah,
related. It's actually more hardware related.
yep,
Remember I mentioned in the Slack, right, about the keyboard. So let's see if I can get an ASMR happening. So I think I got this.
I'm going to stop my sharing
Yeah, sure.
so that I can
I'll
go
see
on.
if I can get this. Let me turn off the fan. I will turn off echo cancellation, and then let's see if I can do some. Can you hear the keyboard?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So it's I'll show it later. So it's a nice sounding keyboard. I'll see if I can get the webcam down. Let me get this back
Yeah.
here. So yeah, so
The
the
question
project
is,
that I'm doing, so this is like
yeah,
introductory things, right?
yeah,
I'm trying to. So this is the keyboard. Right now,
Hmm.
it's a soya bean. So let me get it like on the other way around. Yes, it's a soya bean themed keyboard. You have a keep refrigerated soya
nice,
bean, 250
nice.
ml, and then the
Yep.
soya. It's a soya. What they call this? It's the color is not good right now, but it's what they call this? It's gray.
Yeah,
It's
it's a good
bean
key. It's a
curd.
very good.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
nice
the
one. I
beat.
have the other one, the old one that
Yeah.
I showed before, with
Yep.
the green thing. It's a wireless with a double
Yep.
triple A battery. So same thing. It's I don't know if you can hear it. Like I'm not as happy because there's very much spring ping on this. This one is
Correct.
nicer. So this one the wireless is the one that I'm planning to bring along everywhere else because it's
Yep.
great for putting in your carry-on luggage
Yep.
because there's no batteries. Like it's AAA batteries, right? So you have a
Correct.
wireless keyboard without lithium ion batteries, and this one is just for the desk. So that's like two of the keyboards. That those are like practice ones. What I'm trying to do right now is to make my own keyboard with the switches, with the diodes, and all of these things. There's a
Yeah.
lot of there are many firmware available. There's
Hmm.
Circuit Python. There's also the Ruby one in the
Yeah.
RP2040. Then of course there's the classic QMK and the ZMK
Yep.
firmwares. But it's interesting that you have that you can control the keyboard. So the problem with the keyboards that I have right now, the ones these ones, that's why I'm not happy with them, is especially this one. This is called
Hmm.
the 60%.
Yep.
So it's a 64, sorry, 68 key. I don't like so this is the escape key, right? This is
Yep.
where the tilde and the backtick usually
Ooh.
is. It's all the way here. But for example, in a programmable keyboard, if I can reprogram this and I can do like the
Yeah.
backtick there and then do a function backtick if I do an
Hmm.
escape. So I'm not a Vim user. I don't do escape a lot.
Yep.
So I don't like I don't want to have escape as the upper left. I prefer the backtick because I use
Yep.
them for quoting
JavaScript
things.
coding. Yeah.
Well, JavaScript is using it. Like, Ruby does it. You
Who is
can
doing
do
it?
for Slack. You the triple GitHub documentation. So there's a lot of usage for
Yep.
the backticks, and I don't want my muscle memory for the right. So that's why
Yep.
having a programmable keyboard is actually quite useful so that you own
Correct.
your layout. I used to like the what they call this, the numpad. Oh, actually, in the numpad, you remember what his name is, SVT. I only remember him
Oh
as
yeah.
SVT.
Stanley.
Yeah, Stanley. So
Stanley.
I actually finally managed to solder and because he was selling this in the keyboard Mac market in Facebook. Finally managed
Yeah.
to like put the Arduino inside, burn the
Yeah.
firmware, and do it. And so now I have an actual numpad, but I probably will
Okay.
redo it because the rotary encoder in the firmware is actually upside down. I'm not sure.
All
It's the
right.
clockwise is wrong. So I'm not sure if it's uh, the routing in the encoder,
Yeah.
like it was in the PCB, for example, or I mean, I can just change it. So that's another
Yeah.
thing that I'm thinking of. I used to like the numpad, but I am now like a believer of the 65 and the 65 and the 75% layout. So the one that the soya bean one is a 75, so that's
Mm-hmm.
84 keys, and the 65% is the green one. The cost this one, sorry, the this one, yes, Stanley is selling this on Facebook. I wanted to support him, so I got the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
the acrylic, the encoders, including the Arduino, the PCB. I provided the switches and the keycaps, but you can just buy the PCB from him when he's selling it, and then you can just like either get like the wood, what they call this, because this is acrylic, right? I just didn't peel off
Correct.
the paper. You can get the wood case if you're not if you prefer something cheaper. But yeah, it is custom, but it's not fully custom. I think he derived it from a different project. Well, because these DIY keyboards, like PCB printed keyboards, they're everywhere in YouTube. People are talking about it. I don't want to go the PCB route yet, though. I want to handwire my own keyboard because I want to understand the matrix configuration. I want to understand like how
Yep.
exactly it works, how to detect like how why does like that matrix, if you have like a 4 by 4 for example, and if you
Mm-hmm.
do something like so this is a 4 by 4, and if you do something like a direct GPIO wiring, you're going to run out of pins on the Arduino. But the way this was done is
Correct.
because of the diodes, you only have a 4 by 4, so you only have a total of 8 GPIO pins for this. And yeah, so it's
Mm-hmm.
it's a good learning experience as well. Can share the link?
Yep.
Yes, I will try to see. I'll try to get it from Facebook. But yeah, what I'm waiting for now is another 65% keyboard. So this one, the 75 I have is actually around like 100 ringgit. The 65 I have is about 70, and the other one that I'm buying so that I can just like dismantle it and just um, use the switches and the keycaps and the case is like I think
Mm-hmm.
around 60. It's actually a lot cheaper. I used to buy a lot of Apple keyboards, and I have a lot of broken ones. They're very expensive, like 300 plus
Mm-hmm.
per keyboard, because I like the feel. But then I realized they're very expensive. You can't repair them at all when something is broken, like you don't know what's happening. uh, Whereas this is like less than half the cost of an Apple keyboard, and you can easily repair it. Like if something's
Yep.
broken, you can remove the switch and then you can replace it. And usually it's the switch that's
Correct.
the problem. So that is what I'm trying to do. I'll try to find that that link.
You can. Yeah. I will probably
How
just
do I
put it.
search? I
The,
haven't done. Sorry, I haven't done Facebook in a long time. I don't know how to search things in Facebook. They changed the layout. I don't know.
yeah.
How do
They
I
changed the whole
search?
thing. Once I found it, I will put
Oh,
this
fine,
on today's
Stanley.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will put it on the. I will put it on the today's episode link. If
Okay.
you should able to find it on today's episode on
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
devkami.com. So it's something I also try to do. Actually, back to language model again. I got myself a microphone. I put it on the Pi, right? I put
Mm-hmm.
it on the Pi, and so that I can make an assistant, so that I can make a friend. Okay, so that I can make a friend. Uh,
So I was actually going to recommend you a different one. So this one that I'm using right now. So I think you saw it. Like I'll just get the other ones because this is a dual
yeah.
thing. So this the microphone itself, and then it's USB-C into the computer. So this is
Yep.
wireless. It's around 50 ringgit. It's actually quite cheap, and it's good
Yeah.
quality. It's enough for what they call it, and then you have a case, you have a charging case, so you charge
Correct.
it inside, and you have
Yeah,
two.
but
Well,
this is
I
just
got the dual version. Yeah,
no,
but if
but
you have
this
a
is a just
Pi, then you just plug it into the
yeah,
USB port, and then now you can have a high quality microphone. It's not
yeah,
part of the
no.
Pi, right?
This is more of a Google Assistant type of microphone, right?
So you want
It's a
it
wide field microphone,
oh, mm,
right? It's an experiment anyway. Why not? I thought of
mm.
adding a crazy project to go on. But at
Because
this time,
the
only do the software part. Yeah.
yeah the because the what the problem with voice recognition is that you need high quality samples. So if your microphone is not good,
Yeah.
yeah.
Correct. So they
Oh, we have a
this I have
question, by the way.
one thing.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Does DevKami live stream every Thursday night?
Yes, it is.
Swimming does.
Yes.
Sometimes I miss
I miss
live
a lot.
streams.
Correct.
As long as
Yes.
swimming is good,
Try.
doing it is that we're gonna do it.
Mm,
But
That's the
next
thing.
week, maybe not because I'll be in Korea. I'll be in Korea. Uh, yeah. No. I, even if I do it, hopefully I don't confuse with the time,
yeah.
right?
Well, if you're in Korea, I think they're earlier, so you can be in
Yeah,
your
they're
hotel
earlier.
room and then you can
Yeah,
just do something.
UTC. I think the UTC 7 plus actually.
Then you can have a traveling, like you can just go around while we're discussing things, and then you're just like
Correct.
walk around Korea.
Yeah. So let me get Korea time zone. Uh, it's uh, it's
May I
three
Yeah,
recommend
fifty
if,
nine.
May I recommend a website that we just built in my company called zonegem.com to
So
what do you call this, to explore purely client-side applications.
yeah,
Zonegem.com. So it's not a
yeah.
I mean we only did it like in what, 6 weeks.
Okay.
So
nice.
it's a way to what do you call this? It's a way to compare time zones and set up meetings.
Zonejam.com.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
You
maybe.
plan a meeting. That the call to action is plan a meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, no backend,
So
purely client side.
yeah. It's really capable nowadays. Next week.
You can add a guest. I guess you want.
Yeah, Thursday, right? It should be Thursday.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
so
a
we have time
location.
because some people have DST, PST, whatever happening. That's why you
Yeah.
have to check.
Yeah.
So Korea is GMT plus 9.
Yeah. Let's say swimming, right?
Mm.
And then
So
that.
Kuala Lumpur is on the left,
Yep.
and I guess so. What time is 10? So if you scroll down, I think that will be 10.
It's 11. It's late 11.
Yeah, so that would be good.
Yeah. Maybe it
You'll
works
be in
if
your hotel
I.
room.
Yeah, I'll be in my hotel room and hopefully I'll be surviving because I'll be walking around. It's a Thursday, meaning I may actually walk around many places. Oh, because Thursday is the day where I go out on my own, very likely.
Mm.
So since I'm very likely going out on my own, so I might go crazy, I might go tired. Let's see what happened on that day. Let's see. So with that said, check our links. Our links have a lot more stuff on things we don't talk about, and I will update extra link for wherever that we miss. So yeah,
Yeah, if I find
see you
if I ever
hopefully next
find
week.
how to search Facebook again, because I have no idea how to search for things now.
Yeah,
How do you search actually? Search Facebook is on the upper left. Okay.
yeah. SVT method.
It's Dumpad. Actually, yeah, I think I can search Google instead. SVT Dumpad.
Yeah,
Yeah, SVT Maker Dumpad. Wait, I can give you the review on YouTube. There you go. Okay.
yeah.
Let me put it
So either
on
way, I will
the
update it. So thanks
channel.
for listening. It's a bit late. Tomorrow is office day. So yeah, lah. So thanks for listening, and we're going off that soon. So
Bye.
bye.
See you next
Podcast.
week.
Yep.